Layers are usually used to increase workflow on the basis that everything is in order. So we as designers can easily group and name elements to be able to identify them. In the case of a simple logo such as this, there are very few elements, and so we can work quite easily without having to use layers. We know where things are and we know how they're sorted. For the next person, however, our work must be arranged and presented appropriately and professionally so that they too can identify things at a glance. We need to bear in mind that although the actual client may not access the source files and the layers therein, they are likely to be passing the files to other people in other areas of business, such as printing, for example. They will expect everything to be in order, and when it is, this reduces the hassle we get as the supplier of the original source file. We reduce the back and forths. So this is how we might go about arranging our simple logo into a friendly format so that everyone can understand its composition. So clicking into the Layers panel, you'll see that I have one layer. Now if I click the arrow to open it up, you'll see that I have a group. It's because all these items are grouped. If we go to Object, Ungroup, you'll see all the elements now, which are individual. So the first is the symbol, as you'll see by the little picture. The next is the title of the eye, beneath E, Z or Z, D, the stem of the I, and the R. So the first thing I'm going to do is go down the bottom of the Layers panel and click Create New Layer. I'm going to double click on the name. I'm going to name this Symbol. Next, I'm going to drag the symbol into the symbol layer. I'm going to call Layer 1 Text. So now we have two layers, text and symbol. Those are the main components that make up the logo. Next, I'm going to go in and double click Ellipse. I'm going to name this Title. I'm going to double click the name for the E. Name this E, as you might expect. The Z or the Z, I'm going to do the same. And again for the D, double clicking the stem of the I, naming this I. And lastly, R. So expanding the symbol layer, this is a compound shape. You'll see it's got the word comp. I'm going to click the compound shape. I'm going to go to the Pathfinder. Beneath Pathfinders, I'm going to click Divide. I'm going to go to Object and Ungroup, because you'll see now there's a group in the layers. And now this gives me the two components that made up that compound layer. These are now separate shapes. So I'm going to name this shape Roof, double clicking its name, which is currently Path Roof. And I'm going to name this Hood. So I'm going to double click that in the Layers panel. So we now have two expanded layers, so we can see all the elements within. We have symbol and we have text. Within the symbol layer we have hood and roof, which is these two shapes, and this is color coded red. You can see when I select these, it's got a red outline and a red bounding box. Beneath is the text layer, which highlights blue, as you can see the blue outline and bounding box. And in the text layer I've got title E, Z, D, I and R. So I can go ahead, select all of those characters, go to Object Group. So we have this group now denoted in the layers. In a similar manner, we can highlight all parts of the symbol and go to Object Group, and it'll show you the group in the layers too. Now if we group things, we can still view the elements simply by clicking the arrow of the group. So it expands all the elements for us to see. Now the very last thing that I want to do is just to arrange these letters in order. R, I, D, E, Z. So it reads correctly like the logo on the canvas. So with that done, that's our file prepared, arranged accordingly. Layers are set up into to, symbol and text, and all elements are named appropriately. So that's how to arrange a logo design file professionally, and the person who receives and works with this file will be grateful for its arrangement.